What's up, people? It's your boy Sly. In this video, I'm going to talk about the gentrification in Seattle. Seattle these days is getting really expensive thanks to the fact that we have Amazon, we have Microsoft, we have Boeing. We have a lot of companies here, right? Lots of companies here. So I know people think that, well, people know that living in Seattle area is expensive. We have Seattle, we have Bellevue, we have Kirkland, and we have other places that are just expensive. So something that was interesting to me was I was passing through the low income area in Seattle. Okay. There are some neighborhoods that are pretty much lower class. Okay. The lower class, we have the ghettos. But the thing that was interesting is that I passed the area yesterday and things have changed. See, I was passing through the ghetto, or the low income area, and something I noticed that was kind of interesting is that those areas are now being redeveloped. What I mean is that some buildings on the street now have like a new transit, like bus stops. They have new commercial buildings. So, and it's gradually being developed where, okay, let me say in better terms. When I was passing through the area, I was on this street, okay? When I was there, you see some old buildings. You have old houses, and some of them look like crap, okay? But if you keep going further up the street, you start seeing commercial buildings, newly built, okay? So it's one of those things where you say to yourself, like, what's going to happen gradually is they're going to be developers are going to come into the area and make the lower income area, they're going to redevelop it and make it middle class. So when that happens, okay, you're pretty much going to push out the lower income people. Okay? They're going to push them out and change that whole area. So very soon, to live in Seattle in general is going to be middle class only. Okay? So this is the things that I'm starting to see. And what happens in some cases where how these things work is, for example, let's say you have this area. Let's say now on this street itself, you see a commercial building, right? Then these developers are going to approach the owners of a particular land or the owners of a house and say to them, hey, we want to buy your property. We'll give you this much for it. Okay? And many people are going to say yes because they're going to get money that will sustain their needs. Because most of the time, if someone offers you money, you're not going to turn it down. Okay? Let me just give you an example. If you had a building or a house that was worth about, let's just say, for example, $100,000. And a developer says, We'll give you 150. We'll give you 200. Most of the time, people are going to say yes. Because, one, if that person sold that land or sold that house, there's a high possibility they probably wouldn't get the number that they were asking for. Okay? So, and this happens many cases. Developers see long term. So when they see this piece of land is very useful, they'll offer that person any price they feel that they can get for it. So, this is what I'm saying is that pretty much what's going to happen in Seattle, the lower income areas are going to be, they're going to become middle class in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be a city where if you don't have a job that pays minimum like 70 grand or 80 grand, you're not going to be able to live in the area. Okay? This is how the system works when it comes to economics. And there are different reasons why people don't like low-income areas. Okay? Many reasons why. Because one, low-income areas has high crime. Because a lot of people there are just trying to get by. Some of them are just trying to take care of themselves. And sometimes when they can't take care of themselves, it results to crime. They're going to steal, there's going to be theft. And there's some cases where you're going to have more aggression, frustration, because they have a lot of things go into that. But anyhow, so I'm just letting you guys know what's happening, that the lower income areas are going to be replaced into middle class. So people need to get a career or a job that will sustain their needs. Okay? I think what happens in many cases is that people don't want things to change, and they sit there and complain about how these developers come in and take over the neighborhood and shit. But all that stuff is useless. It's pointless. Your job is to find a way to survive in that environment. Like, for example, you have apartment complexes that charge rent for about, let's just say, about $1,500 a month. Okay? Many people cannot afford that with their current salary. So instead of these people to be protesting or arguing or complaining about the price increases, they need to find a job that will sustain their needs. Because I can say this, where people complain about changes, it falls on deaf ears. Because think about it. It's just how it works. If you say, I'm not paying this rent increase, guess what? They can find someone else. They can find somebody else that will pay that price. Do you not see what I'm talking about? So it's all economics. So I'm just speaking what I've seen lately, that very soon you're gonna have to be middle class to live in Seattle or to live in these major cities. You're gonna have to have at least 80 grand. I'm just speaking in the future. As of right now, based on my speculation, based on what I've seen, you need at least, to live happily, okay? You need to live in Seattle these days, you need minimum 50 grand. Minimum. That's just to even live here. But if you want to have a good quality of life, you're going to need about 70 grand, 70, 80 grand. If not, man, it's going to be tough. I mean, people complaining doesn't do nothing. So you got to have to figure it out. Every major city in the U.S. is going to increase their cost of living for different reasons. So, I mean, I'm just saying to you guys, find a career that can sustain your needs, because working these low end jobs or working just basic jobs is not going to help. So let me know what you think. Peace.